The first year of the pandemic was about unprecedented changes. Streets emptied more or less overnight. Countries all over the world closed borders and locked down. Masking up became compulsory. There were no vaccines, and because healthcare professionals had little experience with the disease, catching it was a terrifying proposition. As the first vaccines were rolled out at the end of that first pandemic year, around 90 million cases of COVID-19 had been reported worldwide. Since then, over 7 times that number of people have tested positive for the disease, and experts estimate there have been many, many more unconfirmed cases. At the peak of the Omicron variant surge last January, the highest number of cases in the pandemic so far, over 20 million people worldwide were testing positive for the disease every week. Throughout the pandemic, deaths worldwide, unsurprisingly, have reflected infection worldwide. A series of waves struck the planet. Though different countries suffered differently at different times, a retrospective reveals at least one detectable pattern. It was a simple and devastating equation. When the number of cases rose and fell in a new wave, the number of deaths followed a couple of weeks later. The deadliest wave so far peaked in early 2021, when in one terrible week, over 100,000 people died worldwide. But the equation has changed somewhat since the massive Omicron wave early this year. Large numbers of people are still getting sick, but on average, fewer are dying. The changing relationship between case rates and death tolls is at least in part due to another factor: widespread vaccination. So far, over 12.5 billion doses of vaccines have gone into arms all over the world. Significant percentages of populations in the Americas, Europe, and Asia are now fully vaccinated, though there's still a lot to do in Africa. The biggest vaccination drive in history has not, all on its own, been enough to stop the continued spread of COVID-19. But coupled with the immunity induced in many people through wide-scale exposure, experts say it's brought the day when we declare the pandemic at an end a lot nearer and save tens of millions of lives.